we must understand the issue of power sector today is a complex one. We have this problem today because of cumulative issues before now. I could recall when I was a staff of National Electric Power Authority, we operate during the former managing director, executive engineer Hamza Ibrahim, we operated a ring system of the grid. The ring system is more flexible, provides stability, and outages are usually minimal because when a problem happens at one point, you can inject power through the other. He was forced to dismantle that because as at that time, funding in the sector was not there. Operationally, he could not continue with the ring system. It's a little costlier, but when you are talking of power stability, you need a ring system in the grid. So it was now stepped down to what we call radial system. Believe me, I was very closely working with the system planning when I was working with the national rural education programs. I was scared. I said, should there be a problem today? Managing it could be a very difficult task. What happened now that the north is out of supply can happen to any part of the country. Once you have this kind of problem, believe me, it can affect the west, it can affect the east, it can affect the south, everywhere, because we are operating a radial system. An effort was made quite all right to ring it, but operationally, the ring system is not yet in place. That is one. Secondly, there is social and political influences. Political exigencies today is given much more consideration to the siting of projects. If you don't do it, you face the wrath of the politicians, if you are a technical people. I knew previous chief executive of TCN last 2 years, 3 years, simply because I know the TCN engineers were very stubborn then to the muzzling of the politicians. Most of them were kicked out before their time because they refused to be muzzled in that regard. This is a fact, I can tell you this. Let me maybe declassify the information. The TCN engineers since then, since the time of Hamza Ibrahim, they were so stubborn. I recall one of the chief executive in one of the sectors Hamza Ibrahim complained to him that, why are you getting money to fund your project? He said, don't ask me that. What it means, Hamza Ibrahim couldn't understand what to do to supply the needs of the politicians or the top cadre, and there was no funding. For example, I can recall I worked closely with, not informally, was like Liel Imoke when he was the chairman of the power holders. The problem actually was 37, as at that time, 37 years, there was only 132 kV added into the system. So power expansion was infrastructural deficit was a key problem. And I was asked during his time, he asked me personally, in fact, the government was involved. When do you think we can solve this problem? I told him that you need nothing less than 25 years to fix this problem. Where you have stagnation in the expansion of the infrastructure for 37 years. At 150 MVA, 330, 132 kV transformer takes minimum of 7 months to be manufactured in China. But when you go to Europe, they will give you 18 months. And there are few industries, even not as at that time, who can manufacture a good 150, because it's a very complex engineering to manufacture 150 MVA 330 stroke 132 kV transformer. We call it auto transformers. So that is one. Secondly, there is issue of constraints of the law. In the Procurement Act, you must give to the lowest bidder, for example. And then, like the transformer I was talking about, 150 MVA, the best tap, one of the major equipment that comes with it, tap changer. The best tap changer in the world today is MR. MR tap changer is a German made. If you said, if TCN should say, go for MR tap changer, they are violating the law. And I assure you, any tap changer you use, you run into problem. I could recall also when, what do you call it, the Katampe substation, I was fully involved in redesigning it, the Katampe substation, as a consultant. TransEnergy struck Kolenko. Kolenko is a Swiss company. I was fully involved. That compromise came into play whereby the isolators, we call it disconnector switch, we bought all of them from China. They didn't last 1 year, 6 months. 6 months. So you have to improvise to do this. That compromised the stability of the power.
So apart from infrastructure deficit, what else? What of maintenance of existing infrastructure?
The DEN, NEPA training in the DEN power houses was something that is very, very powerful. But now, training in all the government companies is a problem. It's seen as, what do you call it, when you want to, welfare. So I was involved. When training program is put in the budget, you only give the staff, they go and they spend it, they don't even go for the training. Believe me, this is rampant in the government system. So the staffs, they are not properly trained. Okay. Yes, the staffs are not properly trained. Secondly, social issue. They need, or economic issue, they need more money. The salary is too meager, and they have to find a way to support themselves.
Makes them vulnerable.
Precisely. So it's a complex issue. So the staffs are not properly trained. Not because we don't see the importance of training, but for the reasons I've just mentioned, they are not properly trained. Handling of this thing. I could recall in 1994, the first installation of 30/40 MVA transformer was done by us under supervision of Engineer Ua, who was a very good, we call it PCNM engineer. He retired as an ED in the PCNM. So we nearly fought with the management then, because usually they invite Siemens, this to do it. We were fully trained. We had very strong training structure within the system. You first do it in Ajora, you go to Kainji, you go to, so training, 2 years, full-fledged training. You have to undergo through that, but it's not there. Everything has been changed, and not to good, but to worse. Okay. So that is one of the actually problem. Inadequate training is an issue. Lastly, the demons. The demon, corruption.
Okay.
Corruption is, in fact, superb all these issues I have just mentioned. It's terrible issue today. Whether we like it or each and every Nigerian, with the exception of few, everybody is involved in it. I pity the young ones. I don't know what this country will turn out to be in the few years to come. I saw that during this strike. It was politically motivated, but what I saw in my village, Nguru, I'm from Yobe State, Nguru, 10,000 small children, 10, 11, 12, 14, coming out, wanted to loot the police. I said no. In fact, not only the police, the military were there, the police were there, road safety were involved. NDLA was to barricade the market. What we call, like one play in Hausa land, they want to grab what they can. The police say no, and they cannot shoot. Yeah. They are small children. So I became scared. I said, is it what is happening in this town? It has never been like this. I don't know. So I'm in a state of fear as I'm talking to you now. I don't know what will happen.
What of maintenance of existing?
Wait.